Most people will only go on an Alaska Inside Passage cruise once, so every day must be special and really memorable. That's where I come in, as for my multiple cruises there, I think I know what you can do to make it so. As some of these activities can be costly, as you'll see, I also have an Exploring Alaska Ports Without Breaking the Bank video that will help you balance out your budget if these are a bit too much. More on that later. Meanwhile, welcome aboard. I'm Gary Bembridge, and let's start with 3 ports that you'll almost certainly be calling on. Juneau is the capital of Alaska. It was founded by 2 prospectors, Richard Harris and Joseph Juneau. They discovered gold there. They triggered a major gold rush, and people flooded into what was first called Harrisburg and eventually became known as Juneau. About 30,000 people lived there. The gold mines closed way back in 1940, and its main business now is being the administrative capital of Alaska and tourism. What epic things should you do in Juneau? While many people think going to view the Mendenhall Glacier just outside Juneau, about 12 miles away, is incredible, which it is, but going dog sledding on the glacier itself totally trumps it. It's the best trip I have ever done anywhere. A helicopter whisked me over Juneau, over the Juneau ice field before landing on the glacier. There were around 150 racing husky dogs there. They train there and spend the summer season there. I then went on a dog sledding adventure. It was an incredible experience. After the ride, there was time to interact with the dogs before the helicopters returned with the next set of guests and to fly me back to Juneau. While it was a phenomenal experience, it is very pricey, around $600 plus per person. That's why on a return visit, instead, I went for the next best thing, which is a helicopter up onto the Mendenhall Glacier, but here you just walk across the surface. This too was memorable, it was thrilling, and it was about half the cost. Now, if those eye-watering sums are a no-go, I guarantee you and your family and friends will find visiting the Mendenhall Glacier and the Nugget Falls next to it up close a stunning experience. It's 12 miles out of town, and I do explain the best ways to do that in my Exploring Alaska Ports Without Going Broke video. Another epic thing to do in Juneau is going up the Gold Belt Mount Roberts Tramway. It's one of the steepest cable car rides in the world, and at the top of the mountain you'll see views across the area that you will absolutely cherish forever up there. I always go when I'm in Juneau. There is another adventure I do every time I go to Alaska, but this one is actually in Skagway. It's so fantastic, and I will never ever tire of doing it. Now, Skagway became famous as the gateway to the Klondike in the Yukon, Canada. When gold was discovered there, going via Skagway was actually the easiest way of reaching the gold fields, even though they and Skagway are many hundreds of miles away. 30,000 prospectors headed to Skagway using the Chilkoot or the White Pass behind the city to get to the Yukon over the mountains. The White Pass and Yukon Railway was built to make it easier for prospectors to get to the gold fields and to transport ore and the cargo back. The railway ran from 1900 until 1982. In the late 1990s, it was resurrected as a tourist attraction, traveling from Skagway up many thousands of feet right up to the White Pass summit. While you can actually go further into Canada on some trips, the best trip, in my view, is the 40-mile return trip to the summit and back. The views are incredible as the train twists and turns up the mountain. There's live commentary about the route and the history, and the train itself is just brilliant. Whilst the regular carriages are great, on some trips I've been on, there was a luxury parlor car option, but it cost almost 3 times the standard carriage price of around $140. It holds 14 people in big, comfy seats. There's a dedicated guide who serves drinks and food. Fantastic. If booking is an excursion with your line, by the way, the railway usually allocates a train per ship, and you board right next to your ship. Either before or after the train, do spend time exploring Skagway town itself, as it still mostly has original buildings. They have great stories behind them, and in my budget exploring video I have tips on how to get the most when exploring that Skagway town. In the next port, Ketchikan, there is actually one of the most fun things that you can do in Alaska. I love it. Ketchikan started as an indigenous people's fishing camp and rapidly grew after a salmon cannery was founded in the 1800s. It's the self-declared salmon capital of the world, although forestry and lumberjacking were a major industry for a time. Nowadays, tourism is actually the main activity here. So what should you do in Ketchikan that is fun and pretty epic? The most spectacular activity here is a float plane sightseeing flight over the Tongass National Forest to the Misty Fjords National Monument. Through ancient times, volcanoes and ice-carved, stunning scenery. In theory, they claim on these flights you will see eagles, bears, deer, mountain goats, seals, maybe even whales, but in my experience, you're not going to see that from the plane. These are pretty costly, again, around about $300 for an hour trip. So there are, instead of that, 3 really fun things that I actually usually do instead when I'm in Ketchikan. First of these is such a laugh. It's the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show on the site of the old Ketchikan spruce mill. 2 lumberjack teams, United States and Canada, battle it out in increasingly spectacular and crowd-pleasing wood chopping competitions. It's done tongue-in-cheek. It's a really, really fun activity. Definitely do that. Not far away is Creek Street. These are original and colorful wooden buildings on stilts built over the Ketchikan Creek. It was the red light district from the early 1900s right up, believe it or not, to 1954. Each building has a story. They're now mostly craft and souvenir shops. One is Dolly's House Museum, home of one of the most infamous of the madams. Ketchikan is also, by the way, renowned for the around 80 totem poles in the city and surrounds. Now, my favorite place to see them is at the 11-acre Totem Bight State Historical Park. This was actually created right back in the 1930s. As so many indigenous native people were starting to move into the centers for work, there was a lot of concern that some of the heritage and the culture would be lost, particularly the beautiful storytelling totems. So a group of them were collected and they were preserved. Now, the entrance fee there includes a guided tour telling you all about the history, the story of each pole. It's not that far of Ketchikan, and you can get there on a trolley bus tour or by taxi. Now, while there are 3 main ports on most Alaska Inside Passage cruise, there is actually one destination that is crucial to making any Alaska experience epic. It's also one that you're not going to get off the ship when you get there, and this is Glacier Bay. If you're planning an Alaska Inside cruise, make sure it is one that will be going into Glacier Bay. Not many cruise lines and ships do, because only 2 cruise ships per day are allowed in. The 3 lines that have most access are Holland America and Princess, because they've been going to Alaska longer than any other lines, and Norwegian Cruise Line. Other lines will go to other glacier areas like Tracy Arm, which is great, but it lacks the scale and the range of glaciers in Glacier Bay. Now, I've been to Glacier Bay on both Holland America and Princess cruises on past trips. The Glacier Bay National Park and Reserve is a magical and really important place to see glaciers. It's overall 3.2 million acres large, but on the ship you get to see several really impressive tidewater glaciers, including the Reed Glacier, the John Hopkins Glacier, and the most impressive of all, the Marjorie Glacier. The cruise and the ship will spend many hours kind of cruising between these different glaciers. The National Park Rangers join the ship. They give talks and commentary while in the bay. At Marjorie Glacier, the ship will spend quite a lot of time there with everyone out on deck, hoping to see the glacier carving, which it often does in the summer, and that is just amazing. It would definitely be something epic. In my view, nothing beats Glacier Bay, and you're going to be shortchanged if you're on a cruise that does not go there. Depending on when you're cruising, whale spotting and sightseeing is very likely to happen on an Inside Passage cruise. It's a memorable and humbling experience and will make your cruise epic. On my last Holland America Alaska cruise, I was told that over 500 humpback whales are in Alaska's Inside Passage for part of the season, with June and July being the key months. As I discovered then, the first sign of a whale is when you're out on deck, you see a plume of steam that springs up from the water. Orcas who feed on salmon in the Alaska Inside Passage can also be spotted early in the season, early May to early June, around Ketchikan and Juneau. I've not seen them though, to be honest. If you really want to see whales, the best ports for boat excursions to find whales and see them are Juneau and Ketchikan, and the lines will usually have a number of options. They do though start from around $175 per person. As inside passage cruises are increasingly starting to call on ports like Sitka, for example, as the region grows in popularity, I do have some great, fantastic and low-cost opportunities and things to do there in my Exploring Alaska Without Breaking the Bank video, along with amazing ideas of things to do in those other ports if these ones are just too much for you. So why don't you watch that now to find out what they are. See you over there.